So today we're going to be making kefir water. It's some people call it kefir water, but basically it's using live water grains, water kefir grains, and fermenting it to make a drink out of it. There's many benefits to kefir water. The main benefit is that it really helps promote a healthy gut. The probiotics in it, they say there's anywhere between 10 to 15 different probiotics in the water kefir. Now there is also milk kefir, which has I believe 20 to 25 probiotics, but some people just have a hard time with the lactose in it because it's made of milk. So for our family, we like both, but we really do enjoy having the kefir water on a day-to-day basis. It's a very refreshing seltzery drink because it's carbonated, so it's just enjoyable even for our young children. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the supplies that you'll need. Now today, I'm going to show you everything, but I will not be making the kefir from the dried grains. I will be making it from already it being in the process of being alive and growing as a grain, okay? So let me just go through it with you. When you initially get kefir, if you buy it through Etsy or other places, you're gonna get it dry like this. Some people do sell it in a more wet form, but I think dry grains are great because then you don't have the pressure of starting it right away. You can start it whenever you want. So this is what dry grains look like, and they are literally they feel like crystal rocks. Okay. And today I will not be showing you how to start your kefir grains, but I just wanted to at least show you what they look like if you decide to purchase them. So you will need kefir, which I'm going to be using ones that are already in the stage of they're alive and they're active. Okay, so this is already one that's been fermented, so I will be using this to start another fermentation. So you will need your kefir grains, you will need water, and I recommend spring water, or I use our Berkey, which is great. You do want the minerals within the water to help with the quality of the kefir, and also the kefir grains will actually eat some of that mineral. So you definitely want spring water if you can. What you don't want is water from the sink where it has the chloride in it. If you don't have access to spring water, you can use the water from the sink, but you're going to want to leave it out for about 30 minutes or more to have the chlorine dissipate. Okay, so then you'll need water, and then what the kefir eats to grow and to multiply is the sugar. I recommend that you get some type of organic cane sugar. You can also use other cane sugars. I have had at times when I've run out of the organic, I have used another, but it's best to try to keep all chemicals out. So organic cane sugar, and also you can use organic brown sugar if you like the taste of that. And once in a while I switch it up with molasses just to change up the type of food that the kefir water is getting. But in general, this is what I use on a day-to-day, which is the cane sugar. The other tools that you'll need to do this is you will need a mason jar. I use a 32-ounce mason jar to do my first ferment. You will need a sieve, and it's very important that you do not use a metal sieve. This is a nylon sieve. The live kefir will react with anything that's metal, so you really want to keep the metal away from the kefir. These are very easy to purchase. I found mine on Amazon. I think you might be able to find it in the stores, but just make sure that it is not the metal one and it is the nylon. Even with the bottle, with the jar, I'm not going to be allowing the kefir to touch this metal part of it. Okay? The other thing you're going to need is a wooden spoon. Again, we don't want to use anything metal, so we will not be using a metal spoon. Find something wooden, or it can be plastic, but again, stay away from metal. I have a 1/4 cup measuring cup. You can use plastic, and in this case, you can use whatever you want because you're going to be using this to measure your sugar and put it into the water. So this will not touch the kefir. The other thing you're going to need is a funnel, and the reason why there's some additional things we're going to need that I'm going to show you is because I'm going to not only show you the first ferment, I'm going to show you if you wanted to do a second ferment, what that looks like and how to do that. So for the second ferment, you do need a funnel for both. So yes, a funnel, a plastic funnel again, stay away from metal. For the second ferment, what you'll need is an additional bottle that is airtight. I found this in IKEA. I love these. They're pretty and they really do the job well. And I'm going to tell you that there is some danger in the second ferment because you are fermenting it airtight. We've had cases where the kefir exploded, and a friend of mine, the glass exploded. So you do really need to be careful. But this really produces some really good fermentation, or carbonation actually. And then what you need is, for the second fermentation, you will need juice. Either you can use a 100% organic juice like this. We love the apple flavor, but you can do a lot of different things. I'm going to do one with the apple juice that you can just get at the store, and then also a blueberry syrup that we made with the cane sugar. Okay? And then you'll need a cup that you can also microwave. You don't have to do the microwaving, but I like to make the water warm before I do the first ferment. Okay, and one other thing, I'm sorry. And then you're gonna need a piece of paper towel and a rubber band. That will be it, and we can get started. Okay, so these are my first fermented water kefirs. I get a bottle. I can't remember exactly what the ounce is on this one. I think it's maybe a 60 or a 56 or something like that. I'll show you how much goes in, and depending on how much, it's really about trying it and seeing what flavor you like and how strong you want your kefir. The way to strain it is I take the funnel and put the sieve on top, and I like how it fits really nicely. So you want to try to get tools that really work well. If the sieve is too big, then it won't fit in your funnel. So consider those things as you purchase. And I'm just going to drain the liquid out. And this is again the first ferment. You have the option to keep some of the liquid in there. They say that it could help promote growth. Now the multiplication of the grains. The reason why is that there's a lot of little baby grains that will go through the sieve if you completely drain it out. If you want those little baby grains to multiply, to grow, then you can keep it in a little bit. Now, when you do this, after some time, it can start to smell. The smell can change and it may not smell as fresh. In that case, you can drain it all out. They recommend not to wash the grains unless there's a certain smell or there's something in the kefir that you're noticing that doesn't look healthy. This is what a healthy grain looks like. Then you can wash it out, but it's not recommended to do that. So I'm going to completely drain it out because I like the amount of kefir I have currently, and I'm not looking to multiply it. And then once I'm done and I've drained out all the fermented juice, I'm going to put the kefir grains back into the same jar. We don't wash out the jar, you just leave it as it is, and we're gonna start our first ferment again in this jar. So I'm gonna show you that right now. So here we go, we have our kefir grain inside. I've drained out all the liquid, and I'm going to take 1/4 cup of the organic cane sugar. Let me just show you that. There you go, a nice full scoop. And I'm sorry, we're not putting it in there. We're gonna put it in a cup and add water to it. I'm using Berkey water, but you can use bottled spring water as well. I will mix it a little bit with, again, a wooden spoon or a plastic spoon. And the water right now is at room temperature, so it really, I would have to stir it a lot in order to have the sugar melt into the water. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to microwave it for 20 seconds. So I've microwaved the water with the kefir, the water with the sugar, and for 20 seconds, and I'm gonna stir it again so that the sugar melts into the water. Okay, I don't like to put warm water straight into the kefir. The kefir can die if the water is too hot. So in order to just make sure that we don't shock the kefir, I will add room temperature water about halfway. Just like that. And then I'll pour in the water with the sugar in it. You want to try to get all the sugar out, and then you're just going to give it a gentle stir, and it's ready to start the fermentation. We want air to be able to, the CO2 actually to come out during the first fermentation. So you can just use a paper towel, fold it, and then put a rubber band over it like this. Okay, so this is it. I'm ready to put it aside on my counter and let it ferment. Now, depending on how warm your house is, it can take anywhere from 24 hours to 48 hours to ferment. And the way you'll know that something is fermented is when you shake it a little bit, you'll see bubbles rising, just like when something is carbonated. I'm going to show you this one that has finished its first ferment. And if you look, you can see the bubbles rising. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside. Now, the thing that I want to caution you is that you want to make sure that it is in a cooler part of your kitchen. It does not have to be in the dark. It can be out on the counter, but you do not want it near the oven or the stove. That heat will cause the fermentation to go way too quickly, and you can have an explosion. I wanted to just show you this little contraption, which you really don't need. This will do the same fermentation as this, but a friend of mine introduced me to this, and I just ended up purchasing it when I first started. So I use it. It's convenient. It allows the gas to escape, but it's not necessary. Okay, now I'm going to show you the second fermentation, and I'm going to do it with both the apple juice right here, a store-bought bottle of apple juice, and also our own syrup that we made at home. So now we have the kefir water that's been fermented once in our bottle that we're going to do the second ferment in. I don't need the sieve for the second fermentation part of it, and I will just fill the rest of it with whatever juice I like to flavor the kefir and also give it that second fermentation. Again, this one is 100% organic apple juice. Now, in this particular type of bottle, you can use a larger mason jar if you want. You will have to seal it tight, but in this type of jar, because it's a very narrow head, it can explode. So I always leave room so that the gas can come out as I slowly open the top off of it. And then I just close it up. I don't even need to do any shaking. It will ferment on its own. And this one I will also leave on the counter. Here in Florida, because it's warmer, I don't do more than 24 hours. I feel that that's enough and it has a great flavor. Once you're done with the fermentation, you can drink it right away. Or what I like to do is I like to put it in the refrigerator and I like to enjoy it the next day once it's nice and cold, and it just becomes a really delicious, refreshing drink. During the day, if you notice that there are lots of bubbles on top, I'm going to show you one that has a lot of bubbles. So this is one that has gotten the second fermentation. You see all the bubbles? That means that there's carbonation. So as you open it, you need to be very careful. And the way that I open it is I always press down hard, release, and just slowly allow the gas to come out before I fully open it. Otherwise, I've had many times where there was explosions, and that was fun. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one aside. That's gonna go for 24 hours. You can label if you're I always do things consistently around the same time, so I don't need to label. I know how long things have been out. But if you are in and out of the house and it just for you, it makes sense to label, you can put a little sticky and put the date of when you started that second ferment and also the first. Okay, now I'm gonna do another second ferment with our homemade blueberry syrup. Again, another bottle. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take the first fermented kefir water and get my funnel, get my sieve, and drain that out, or strain it out. I'll put the water kefir back into my jar. So we're gonna do the second ferment. Now this one's a little bit trickier because my daughter did this. She made blueberry syrup, it's delicious, and you can put it with yogurt. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. She just basically sauteed or put it in a pot with the organic cane sugar and just made it into a syrup. Okay, so I may not even need this. I'm just gonna pour the liquid in. Blueberries want to be which is fine. I actually think that's going to be enough. It's going to be sweet enough. So here we go, and then I'm going to fill the rest with water since it's a syrup consistency. Okay, and there you go. I'm going to close it up. And again, let this sit for 24 hours before we put it in the refrigerator and then enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Ready?
Thanks for watching and make sure to subscribe and hit that like button.